All right, everybody settled in?
Ready.
Cool. All righty. Well, welcome to episode 2 of Battery Not Included Podcast. On this episode, we have my good buddy, producer friend, big helper of all projects that I've been involved in. And then also on your end, you're doing a ton of work as well. So
Probably too much.
We have so many amazing conversations, just me and you on our own, that I'm like, you'd be such a perfect person to talk to.
Amazing. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So here we are.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to just kind of jump off with, again, for people that are just tuning in, the purpose of these discussions is for us to give people who are in the industry, people who are possibly trying to get into the industry, kind of a little behind the curtain or behind the scenes look on how to make it, or what to do to I guess go for your dream in this reality. When we go on YouTube, we look up, how do I direct a film, or how do I produce, and so for this episode, I definitely wanted to kind of pick your brain on the producer, director, writer side, as kind of that's what I'm also doing. So
it's kind of fun, like us being able to talk, because we're both coming from almost like I feel like I have like two careers right now and like same and it's like you're coming from another world, and now we want to make movies, which I've always wanted to make movies, but had a lot of very cool distractions, like making car videos. But it's cool to like just even to be in the middle of it, trying to figure it out, because there's a lot to figure out, and it's all like changing so fast. Like, so it's a lot of roads to chase, probably chasing too many things at once, but at the same time, you kind of have to, right? Like, I mean, I know when you were doing Origins, like, you had a lot of things. You didn't know which one's going to pick up and catch or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden you get one opportunity, and it's like, now laser focus, right? And so it's kind of a neat time to be doing all of that. Also very, I don't know, unsettling too, because it's like, what am I doing? Like, is any of this new stuff going to land at any time? But also, like, you kind of have to be a little bit delusional and like feel like there's an inevitability to it. Otherwise, why would you keep doing it? So
I keep thinking that, and every year that we come, we just had our New Year's here.
Yes.
And I'm like, is this the time to hang it up? Because, dude, I don't know what the fuck is going on in this industry. It's like,
it's crazy.
It's like, I'm watching my bank account just get crushed. Opportunities are going down. Paid is going down. I mean, it's just like, but then it's so funny. It seems to be there's so much opportunities there. And now I'm talking with so many people that I would have dreamt 10 years ago to be able to be in their circle, talking about art, talking about creating. And I'm like, how is it possible that I could feel like so on the high, and then at the same time on a low? So, yeah, I think which you just said a point that also resonated with me, was you got into this to do film and assuming TV narrative, right? Mm-hmm. And so same as me.
Yeah.
And we both kind of found our way, me through documentary and you through commercial, and and so it's funny that it's just like a mirrored. I'm talking to a mirror right now.
Well, it's so funny. It's like going back to your last episode with Eddie, I got to hear that, and you were talking about like playing with GI Joes and like closeted into junior high. I'm like, oh man, yeah, that was me, 100%.
Did you really?
Yeah, hell yeah. Like had that like whole elaborate story set up and run through the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, there's even, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but like the little figures back there. But anyway, yeah, like that was like fun to hear. Just like a total mirror. Like when our friend Loanne like introduced us. She worked with you on a thing you were working on. Just hearing about, he's like shooting, editing, sound, doing all the stuff on his own. Like, I'm like, there's other people out there that did that too. Like, yeah. So it's like, there's a lot in common for sure. So it's kind of cool to be in this next step. Like, yeah, just like things are starting to catch a little bit. It's going to be fun to look back on this, because I feel like in a year or two, one or both of us will be doing be just completely overwhelmed with some super cool project and look back at this conversation and be like, can we just play with G.I. Joes again?
That, or we will be playing with G.I.
Yes,
Joes
exactly.
broke as shit.
We'll just film that.
Yeah,
That's going to be our big hit.
Hey, I always see my nieces and nephews, they're all, 8 and below, always watching other people playing stuff on YouTube. I'm like, wait, so you're not playing it, you're watching somebody playing it. So we could totally do a whole show of just G.I. Joe playing and Star Wars.
That'd be hilarious, actually.
What's so funny about the whole G.I. Joe thing, too, is I remember, talking to my mom and dad, when I first said I wanted to be in making films. They had never knew anybody that made films before, even art, So to them, it was beyond idea of how do you even do that, or who can I ask to. And so, my mom's like, but why, why wouldn't you want to just do something business? And so then, I start thinking to myself of like, well, why? And like, when did this start happening? And then kind of what I discussed with Eddie was, I was a latchkey kid. I grew up watching movies, and that was like who my father figure was, because I didn't have a father, but also was playing G.I. Joes. And I remember there's this story that I was so involved. We went on a road trip to the Grand Canyon, and I was sitting there playing with my G.I. Joes and my sound effects, my sound design. Yes. I cannot wait to finally get a budget to be able to do sound, because my sound design, I'm like that guy from Police Academy.
Yes.
And my mom turns around and goes, could you just chill with the sound effects? You could play, but chill with the sound effects. And I was like, I remember getting so mad. I'm like, Mom, I cannot play without sound effect. How am I?
Mom, there will be no chill back here.
Yeah, I need this guy to feel the kick. How do you just... And so,
which is the same with editing. I don't know, like, if you edit that way, but when I edit something, I have to put all the sound in as I go. So for me, it and I think it's that. I think it's that, like, you have to, like, feel it and, like, know what it's going to sound like and all of that stuff. So anyway,
especially for commercials, I'd imagine, with car sounds and everything, mainly? Or,
it's almost, like, more, definitely with that, especially more with, like, the reviews, like, because they were more, like, story-based type of things. But for shorts or the feature I did, I don't know. It's like my brain won't, if it's a story-based thing, my brain won't. It's like it won't go over the speed bump. It's like I need to put. My brain knows there's gonna be a sound effect here. I need to at least put something there, and then move on. Yeah.
Because for me, digging through sound effect is like dagger in my heart, stomach. Like when I get to that point, I use that at the end. And it's like, also it's just digging. You know how long it takes to find that proper sound, and that just really takes the jam out of my donut. If I'm like, and I'm working, and then I have to spend 2-3 hours looking for sounds, and it just kills my momentum. And so also I noticed I do the final sound design at the end, because by now we've watched it 200, 300, 400 hours. I hate the fucking thing. I don't want to look at it. But then the icing on the cake, when you start layering it in, then you rewatch it, it's like rewatching it all over again.
Totally.
And so that's kind of my workflow.
I think I get that too, though, because like it's not perfect when I first put it in. You know what I mean? So it's like I'll just lay something in there, but then and sometimes avoid that, because I have like kind of my favorites, like that I know, sounds I know, and will use over and over again type thing. So
the Wilhelm.
I can't wait. I was looking for somewhere to put that in the rom-com I had directed. I can find anything, but I want that in everything. It is so great to see them sneak it in.
I know.
Everywhere.
It never gets old.
It doesn't. It's awesome.
well, speaking of all your projects, feature film wise, you've done 2
so
or
executive direct. I mean, so sorry to cut you off, but so executive produced, but ended up I was DP for probably maybe half the movie, because we ended up firing our DP. Second unit directed, but also directed most of the scenes that the director was the star of the movie as well. So I directed a lot of her scenes. So anyway, I'm the executive producer on that one, but I did a lot more.
And what was the name of that?
That was called Reflect, and that's out everywhere. It's on Amazon, iTunes, like probably Tubi still, I'm guessing, and basically everywhere. And then my friend Patrick wrote a rom-com, and they had guaranteed distribution, And he asked me if I'd like to direct it, and I said, hell yes, why not? Because I really like Patrick, and the script was great. So that was called On the Market. So that was that was my first movie I directed, which I never imagined would be a rom-com, but it was really fun. Like, kind of when I started researching, I'm like, oh yeah, like there's a lot of rom-coms I love. Like, you know, I'm more of like sci-fi horror, but yeah, I mean, I'm the same as you, latchkey kid, and we watched whatever VHSs my mom and dad bought. For whatever reason, they bought a shit ton of VHS tapes. And like, so like we had this huge movie collection, and yeah, we'd watch all kinds of like rom-coms over and over and over again, me and my sister. So yeah, so On the Market, that was that one. That was and then I did a short film, which is way more my style, called Sunset Drive, and that's out on YouTube as well.
And that's the one I have seen, yeah. That
Yeah.
was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Sunset Drive was not stressful to do. We lost an entire day because someone got stuck in the sand on the way to set.
Like quicksand?
Kinda. It was like this.
My 80s fears all over again.
It almost felt that way. It was like this super powdery sand, and like it had filled up these ruts in the road, and the actor got stuck there, and then we got stuck trying to get him out. Just
did you guys film that for the BTS?
There's photos.
Okay.
But we had to just like literally dig out the car.
Jeez.
But yeah, the rom-com was fun but stressful because I was DP and directing, and tiny crew, and we shot it in I think 8 or 9 days, and then with pickups and whatever probably turned into like 12 or 13. But brutal, like just
how many pages a day is that?
I think we did 20 pages one day, and like, but our average was probably like, I don't know, 14, 16. It was crazy. But also like felt really alive, and I felt like my brain was at capacity, and I'd have to do this weird thing like set up all the lights, and then the actors would be waiting for direction for the scene, and I'm like, all right, give me like literally 10 seconds, and I would just have to turn my DP brain off and then think about what was happening in the scene and direct. And luckily Patrick was starring in it, and he's the writer, so leaned on him too. I'm like, I remember one night, I don't know, we'd been shooting for 20 something hours or whatever, and like finished lighting, and I was like just looking at Patrick, I'm like, where the hell are we?
Oh, no. What
like,
page are we on?
Yeah, I was like, okay, what are we doing? And he was tired too, but he was just like, okay, we're da-da-da. I'm like, got it, okay, let's go. But like, yeah, like that was really hard, but it's done great. So like better than I thought it would. It's like really small budget, $25,000, but I guess it was a few months ago we got analytics, and we're at like 4.9 million views or something.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
Incredible.
It's like across, like, I guess CW is the big one where we got a ton of views, and it was just trending on there forever and ever. It's on their front page on their
Wow.
And then we got an airline sale, which was like, all right, sweet.
Wow.
So that's only I think United Arab Emirates Airlines. Like, so if somebody we know finally flew over there and gave us a picture of the screen.
No, I was gonna say, has anybody ever done that?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-uh.
So it's been pretty neat. Like, yeah, it's like, but then again, it's like we're waiting to have a meeting with the distributor to talk about money, because it's like doing great, but we haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this episode for sure. For all you that don't know, I kind of got into this industry to do movies and TV, and I got kind of swept into a post lockout period where everything in 2007, 2008, and kind of got pushed into the reality TV and therefore documentaries. So I made it a point last year to start finally getting into narrative. Like, this is what I got into it for. And it really hit me hard when I watched Dune 2, especially. I saw it, I think, 6 times in the theaters.
Yeah.
And every time I watch it, I would walk out of the theater feeling just so depressed. Not. I mean, obviously it was so beautiful and happy, and I kept going, but I was so depressed because I felt I'm so far from that. I am so fucking far from doing anything like that. And it just really put it in perspective of like why I'm here and what I am doing. And so over the last now going on year 2, I've been really trying to develop the storytelling, the ideas of shifting from just run and gun to composing, to learning how to write music, essentially, not just jamming on your guitar. And I am now in hunting mode for my first feature film. And so I definitely wanted to talk to you and pick your brain about how that process looks for somebody out there who is in my position, who wants to do a feature film. But one, is it the script? Is it the person you're working with? Is it the money? Like, where do you start? And for you, like you just said, you did a rom-com. Like, that was totally out. So
totally.
So what does that look like of hunting and doing your first feature film?
What makes me excited about where you are is I really do believe it's like this tricky thing to talk about, because it's like, it kind of is who you know, right? But it's not. You have to, like, basically what I've seen is, like, if you are working hard, if you're finding the people that you really connect with, they're going to be, like, fans of yours. They're going to be, like, they're going to want to champion you. Like, in the same way for me to you, it's like, you're awesome. Like, we get along so well. Like, of course, if I can, I want to help wherever I can, just because, like, I believe in you. So, like, that was, like, that's Patrick. Like, so we knew each other really well, and, like, he knew what I did and knew I could do that. And so, like, when he had an opportunity, like, as a writer and producer, like, he asked me. And, like, I think that is it. It's like, and that's the same way the first one came together too, is like with Dana on Reflect. I was the director writer. She actually, like, she auditioned for Sunset Drive, my short film, and she was probably in my last 1 or 2, 3 picks for the part she was up for, and ended up not picking her because I did chemistry test and it just didn't fit with who else I wanted. But we kind of hit it off creatively, and then we kept talking, and at a certain point she got a little bit of money for her movie, and we started talking about it, and I was like, reading the script, I'm like, this is doable. We could just go make this. I have the equipment, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of like making your own opportunities when you see them, but also, like, it really is like kind of grabbing onto the people you really connect with, because, like, they're the ones who are going to think about you when something comes up, in the same way you're going to think about them. So it's not really who you know, because you could know whoever, but if you're not connecting with them, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you know the most famous person in the world or whatever, because unless you really connect with them, which they are real people, so that's great. But it's kind of like just forming relationships, like helping people that you know and you believe in, and also just watching for those type of opportunities. That's at least what I believe. That's what I think. Getting out, networking, talking to people, finding people you vibe with, like, super important. All that being said, you have to do the work on your own, because no one's going to give you a shot unless you're good. So true. That's not true. I mean, a lot of people who are not good get shots. But you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Like, that's if you are a known quantity, you're trustworthy, you're good at what you do, you've been working on your craft, enough people are going to see that and then want to give you opportunities. That's how I believe, and maybe that's naive, but it's worked so far. And even pitching my new script, I've become really comfortable. I just went through a bunch of pitch sessions over the holidays, and 2, like, pretty harsh rejections, but, like, 4 other meetings that went really well. And it was, like, obvious in the harsh rejections that it wasn't their type of project. It was like they didn't get it. And I was almost thankful for that. I was like, oh, this is, like, really easy to know when someone doesn't get it. And that can be anything. Like, it's just not their genre, or not what they're looking for, whatever it is, not their sensibility. That's kind of good to be comfortable with that, because the people who do get it, then, like, the conversation is totally different. Like, I had these 10-minute pitch sessions, and, like, with the executives, and the ones that went well, like, they're like, oh, I want to talk to you longer, but we're out of time. Like, but the ones who didn't go well, it's just like they're asking, like, ridiculous questions. Like, for example, I have a group of people like somebody chases a group of people to Reno, the town, and it's even described as a place. And the lady's like, well, I don't understand who this Reno character is. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm here, you're here,
Yeah.
we're cool, okay.
Yeah.
yeah. So
And so I definitely want to get to that, talking about the pitch
Yeah,
side of
yeah.
it, because like that alone, that's got to be nervous,
Heck
nerve wracking as hell. Because one, you have to know, obviously, you have to know ins and outs, but there's so many things as I'm learning, as I'm trying to develop my own feature film, things that I'm thinking about, like what would somebody ask me, and do I have an answer for that? And I guess you really never know until you get involved with this,
Dude,
right?
totally, yes. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so then it's also like you got to show up and feel confident to be able to pitch, right? Because then
Yes.
just presenting in front of people is hard, even though when you know what you're talking about, right?
Really is.
So, yeah. And so to start, finding the right network, right people to champion you is kind of how you got started in your feature film career.
Yeah.
How at that point you developed your own feature film script, or was this kind of you were doing more shorts, or how did that kind of progress?
Yeah, so I came over so I guess like the first thing I did, been doing like car commercials and videos and that type of thing for a while, and then I'm getting old, so I'm like, I've always wanted to make films. I got to start steering that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a short film called Artifact, and that one was just like, I wanted to write something that's all contained in one place, basically, and that one did okay. Like, it's, now I look back at it, I'm like, I was definitely a first short, and I think we got an honorable mention in Santa Monica Film Festival, and then maybe 2 other things or something like that. And so did that, learned a ton from that, just and shook off the cobwebs, working on just nothing but narrative, no cars involved. Then from there, like, I was wanted to do, since that one was so simple, something way more ambitious, and that was Sunset Drive. And that took a long time just because I was busy doing other things, but there's a lot of iterations of it, just figuring out, and I wrote it and then had to rewrite it because certain things just weren't possible. I figured out how much it was going to cost to wreck a car or to do this or whatever things I had written in there. And then, just started, we pulled in a lot of favors, spent some money, and just attacked that. And I think shot for 4 days or 5 days or something like that with pickups. And it came out really well, and it did really well in the film festival circuit and everything. It was really well received. But I already knew by the time I finished it that it needed another rewrite. So I learned a lot about story on that one. This could have been way tighter. I should have taken probably 2 passes at it. Which is hard, right? You're so excited when you finish something, and it's like,
let's just shoot this.
Let's go. Yeah, exactly.
And then you see Jaws being filmed, and they're like writing on the set. I'm like, oh, you could just write it on the next day. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I did that, and that actually opened it created a lot of opportunities for conversations, just because we went to so many film festivals and was able to show it to people. We went to AFM, which is American Film Market, a couple times, and then another one popped up, American Film Convention. And it just having that short, I know you were talking about, Eddie, making proof of concepts don't really work, which yes and no, because I had some pretty good conversations about that because the quality of it, but it hasn't led to making the feature version of that yet, although there's still some conversations happening. It just changed the tone of the conversations I was having with people because I had that, and I could say, whatever, we've been in 33 festivals or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever we got. And so I think it was worth it.
So let me jump in.
Yeah, please.
There's also a big push you see on YouTube videos and Instagram videos. I see, are film festivals, do they do anything? Do they mean anything? And you can go on YouTube and see 30 videos, and they're all saying no or yes or no. But
sure.
From your perspective, does is a young filmmaker who's trying to get in to maybe do a feature film, is that still valid? What are your thoughts?
It's not it's so funny because I'm gonna say the same thing over and over again. It's not about like, it's almost, the film festival is almost like a golden ticket for networking. It's like to meet people, and it's like to, I mean, especially if you're at genre festivals or bigger film festivals, it's like, it's your opportunity to meet people and have a specific conversation because they probably saw your film or heard about it or at least saw your poster. And then all of a sudden you're having a different conversation then than if you just walked up to somebody.
Cold pitching it.
Right, exactly. They're like, you can talk about, I have a film in this festival. I have da-da-da-da-da. It just changes the entire tone of the conversation. That's what I was looking to get out of it. So, yeah, I think there's two things, like, in the modern day that I believe film festivals do for you. One, networking opportunities. But you have to work at it. You have to be, and it's hard because not everybody wants to go to an after party and just start introducing themselves to whoever. I do.
Handing out business cards?
Yeah. Or just like talking, you know what I mean? And it's just like, but I think that's a huge part of it. So like, if you don't want to do that, then like film festivals don't make any sense. The other thing, which sounds like a little bit, I think cynical, but I think is also true, is it's like, it is a lot of momentum for your social media. And it's like, in our business, you can't not have social media. I would rather not have social media.
Me too.
But it's all there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all
it's
there.
Your IP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And that's what they all need. I mean, look at everything that's being made right now. Nothing's being made without IP attached to intellectual property for those who may be new to the term. But yes, it's a big thing.
Yeah, and it's like your presence, and it's like that's where everyone is. So like if you do have a short film, I would push the festival circuit because all of a sudden you have momentum. I'm in this festival. Here's a selfie of me at this one, that one, laurels, blah, 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 blah. And, is it all bullshit? Kind of. But is it also real for Instagram? Yes. So it's kind of like cynical. I hate that. But like at the same time, it's like you have to talk about something that you're doing. You have to like present yourself however you do on social media. So like, why not? If you're a filmmaker, like you should be out taking pictures with people, being at festivals, doing filmmaking. Right. Yeah. So that's how I look at it, is like, I feel like it's a bit cynical, but at the same time, it's like, this is great stuff for social media, even if it is a small festival. It's like, you also have to think about it, like, because I have a lot of friends outside the film industry and family and whatever, like, nobody's going to film festivals. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, yeah, it's like kind of normal for us, but it's kind of an alien world for other people. So, I don't know. So I think yes, but only if you're willing to work it. That's worth it.
Well, now that leads me into my next thing. I've gone to a couple of these, either film festival type stuff or after party type stuff or DGA type stuff. And it's funny. I would love to talk about the things to do and the things not to do when it comes in time, because you'll see the whole gamut of people in these events. Like, so, when I first was young, it was like, oh my God, who's important, and try to, strike up a conversation. And then, sometimes it wouldn't be organic because, and also I didn't have anything, maybe I had done some weird shorts or some shit at the end, but again, like, I didn't have a film in the festival. I didn't have any projects I could lay my name on. But, there's a lot of times when I'm there, I'll see people walk up to me and, say hi, and here's my business card. And it's immediately into a pitch, and it's like, holy shit. Like, I don't want to. It's like almost like dating, right? It's like you want to be that kind of like Boba Fett character in the bag where you're kind of mysterious, but also you want to be out there and talking. So what have you found that kind of works when you're in these environments to network properly without pushing somebody away, but also being too aloof, I guess? Yeah,
no, you're right, though, because like you don't want to have that desperate energy, right? It is like dating, kind of. I think it kind of like boiled down to, is there something drawing me to a certain person? That is like if you haven't seen their film or whatever. But like if you go to film festivals and let's say you're there for your screening, you're there for the day. I've met so many cool people seeing the films before and after mine, or during that day or whatever, or maybe you hear about, oh, go see this or whatever. Or sometimes just hear like, oh, or someone will see my film and be like, oh, you would love this film. And then a lot of times you can hunt those people down, you know what I mean? Or you just saw them on screen and they're there doing the Q&A or whatever, just go up and talk to them afterwards. That's like the more organic, the better. Or I guess like another thing is, if you do know anybody that works the festival or is even just volunteering, or they run it, or they're a curator, a lot of times I'd go and ask them like, hey, is there any, and I use this a lot, is there anybody here you think I should meet? And that has led to like some good conversations too, because they're like, oh yeah, you should totally meet so-and-so. They're like your vibe or whatever.
Oh, smart.
And I'll use that at parties too. Like if I'm at a party or an event or a screening or whatever, and I know somebody, which usually you do because that's how you got there, and now I'll just ask them like, hey, is there anybody here you think I should meet? Because like that's a different question than then you're not at least like cold calling whoever.
And
you know
you're
what
getting
I mean?
a nice intro from somebody else if they
Exactly.
know how to kick it off. Now, the other
Totally.
thing that I'm
Yeah,
learning
yeah.
is how to receive the kickoff.
I know, yeah.
I'll be hanging out with like Eddie Perez
Yeah,
or Brian Bowen Smith at a place, and they'll kick me off, and I'm still getting over like the how do I, because you don't want to talk, I don't know, it's weird,
Yeah,
you know? It's like, hey, well, I'm this, or while they're saying it, like, what do you do with your hands, what do you do with your face, do you sit there and kind of go like, that's me, or do you kind of like, and it's funny, I'm naturally, kind of an introvert, I could switch between introvert and extrovert, but I naturally just start kind of getting shy. And then I'm like, oh my God, no. So then I'm like, well, head up. And then I'm like, it's this weird conversation.
You just get inside of your head. Yes.
And then I'm like, they're done talking, and then everybody's staring at me quietly like, so? And I'm like, yeah, that everything they said, yeah, that's me. And I'm like, so like,
he really downplayed me a bit, but I can.
It's a joke. So is
Right,
it a
yeah.
joke that you kind of?
I mean, if a joke naturally comes out, I think that's the best.
Yeah.
The other thing, like, I don't remember who taught me this, but like, just a simple thank you. Oh, thank you.
To them?
Yeah, whoever's introducing them, like, oh, thank you. That was, awesome. Like, I appreciate that intro or whatever. And then at least that you've given something. You know what I mean?
Because then you're sitting there quiet, tick tock, tick tock.
Yeah.
The Key and Peele sketch where he's just like dripping.
Yeah, exactly. If there's a natural joke in the moment, that's the best. Because then at least you're like breaking up that whole thing.
But what happens if you only have one joke and that someone
You've
else
already
heard
used
it,
it.
and they're like, yeah, I totally heard you say that joke to somebody.
See, that's where the obstacle is the way. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Yes,
yes,
I read the book.
Just use the same. Like, I'm just gonna use the same joke I did a minute ago because that's all I've got. Like, just lean in.
Yeah, you got to. So, so film festivals, we're now kind of developing your voice. You're getting a kind of attraction for your own project. Is the jump from doing a short film to a feature film, how different, how big? And I'll say this, I hear everybody that I talk to, because I just finally did my first real narrative short film recently, that short films are quite honestly harder than feature films in the sense that you have to pack so much in.
Yeah.
What is your take on the leap from the short film to the feature film?
It definitely is. It's tough. It depends because like, that's why I wanted to do Reflect. One of the big reasons was like to see what it was like, because we do so much short form content, what's it like to run the marathon, right? And I think that's probably the biggest difference is like just the commitment and the length of shooting time. And if you're doing a low budget feature, it's kind of the same. It's like hard because Sunset Drive was like so complicated, and we have stunts and aliens and just crazy stuff, right? Like, so that was harder in some ways because we were really busy and had a lot to think about. Like, but then you go over to something like a rom-com, also brutal and longer, and you start dealing with, I think the biggest difference is you start dealing with fatigue. Everyone's fatigued, especially on a low budget, because everyone is just working forever every day to get it all packed in, right? Like, I think story-wise, story-wise shorts are harder, and that's where I think Sunset Drive falls flat, is like the story could have been a lot better. There's a lot to look at, like feels right, you know, did all the tricks to make it feel good, but like the story, like, meh. But with a feature, like you have a lot more room, you can play with it a lot more, especially when you get into the editing. Oh my gosh, you can like really like, it really is true that that's the third time you make a movie, writing, directing, or, you know, on set and then editing. So there's a lot more you can play with for the story on a feature. But also it's also a marathon. It's like you're 2 marathons in a row, you know. It's like I edited my feature too, so it's like it was a lot.
That's insane. And it's hard too because you know, you're writing it, you're directing it, and you're editing it. It is hard from from what I've done, because I do the writing, the directing, and the editing, and everything.
Yeah.
That
and DP. Well, I guess sometimes DP for you. Yeah.
Is that you get locked in so much to it that it's hard to get that outside perspective of it. Or when you do try to get outside perspective, you know the story so well that you're trying to explain, and you're just like, you don't understand. And then it's like there's this weird don't listen, but listen, but listen, don't listen.
That's really tricky too. Like how, like wonder how you handle that too, because it's, I am very collaborative when I direct. Like I want to steal everyone's best ideas. Like it's like I feel like the secret of being a good director, and like no one talks about, is like if you have good taste and you are collaborative, you get to just steal everyone's best ideas. Like, and then everyone, you know, enjoys the fruits of that. But yeah, how, like, especially when writing my screenplay that I just finished, like giving it out to people for feedback and whatever, and it's like, oh, is this the way I should go? Are they right about this? What do I leave behind? What do I dump out? What do I integrate? Like, I don't know. How do you handle that? Like picking what you use and what you don't?
Yeah, I think early on it was, you know, just write and then try to figure it out. A lot of mine was because it's low budget, and I'm also, I went to the University of YouTube for my film degree. So, you know, for me it was learn as much as I can, go into it, get what I can, and then kind of learn it in the editing, because that's editing, like you said. I can kind of mold it and understand it and figure out where I went wrong. I think that's been the biggest help for me as a learning tool, is seeing where, once you lay it all out, oh, I'm missing this. This would have been so much better. So next time I write something, this is going to help me with that. But I've also noticed, like, if I bring too many people in, it really fucks with my head in the vision, and then then I also finally start. Sometimes will start shutting down because it's overwhelming to me that I'm not understanding what they're saying. And like, I have my friend Jessica Everlith. She does stories so well. Like she'll read my script and say, oh, the inciting event, this, and I'm like, she'll ask me, and I'm like, well, it's this, and she's like, no, let me ask you again, and I'm like, I'm going to answer the same thing. I don't know. And so I start getting really overwhelmed, and then I shut down. And so the other thing that I've done once I've written is also send it out for coverage, which is, you know, that's $500 on a low end. And so then you get back the notes from somebody. And for those of you who don't know, coverage is what writers will typically do to get notes from people who are established writers in TV and movies. But when you get that back, you know, it's like your graded paper with all the X's and questions, and that helps me understand the flow of storytelling. But what's also, and I know a lot of people might shit on me for this, but I've been using a lot of Gemini, you know, AI, but not in the sense of write my script, which is I'm noticing a lot of people do. Yeah. I'm using AI for coverage. Yeah. And so instead of spending $500 for somebody to tell me something about story structure or what's the inciting event, to ask me, I'll take my script and bring it into Gemini. And the reason why I use Gemini is because it's the one I have is enterprise level. It's not getting leaked out like ChatGPT, from my understanding, is out into the community, whereas Gemini. So that could all be wrong anyways. But it will give me the coverage that I want. And while we all have to take it as a grain of salt, because we know AI is not always right. Yeah. It gives me such great ideas of like, what's your inciting event? And then I'll ask it, and it says, this is it. And I'm like, oh, well, no. Funny that you thought that, but this was mine. And even if it's wrong, at least it got me to ask it. And I can ask it again, like, okay, well, why is this not the inciting event? And then it'll kind of give me. And so that's been such a helpful tool for me to learn better storytelling, to understand flow, to understand what I have and what I don't have. And then another thing I'll do is I'll say, based off of other genres, say I'm writing a Render is this sci-fi project I've been working on for 10 plus years. 6 plus years. I'll put it in and ask other sci-fi films that match this, what made them so successful, and how can you compare that to my project? So these are things that I'm asking it, and then I'm comparing. And so for me, it's been such an amazing tool in a teacher, because I'm not getting the stress of, oh my God, this person knows more than me and they're asking me and I don't know the answer, but it's been really allowing me to kind of learn more and understand more. And now I feel like I'm finally in a place where I am ready for a feature film, because I'll be sitting here working on something and it just all of a sudden clicks where I'm like, oh, that's the inciting event. This is the point of no return. And these are the things that I've been studying for 5+ years that forever never made sense to me. And now all of a sudden it's like I can understand, I can read the language now.
Yeah.
And so,
it's like something I always say, like explaining to people, because a lot of times if you show somebody your work or a script or whatever, like they'll say, oh, well, I don't know, you shouldn't value my opinion because I'm not a writer or director or whatever. And I'm like, this film is like a language that everyone can read to a beyond expert level. And that's why people like can smell bullshit immediately on everything, on whatever, or inauthenticity. Like, but not everybody speaks it. Like, not everybody speaks the language. Everyone's an expert level reader of the language.
Smart.
Because like everybody's watching content all the time. Like, you know what I mean? So I think like I think that's a great use of AI, honestly, because I think it's like, it is a tool. It's like a really like valuable tool that can surface new ideas, as long as like, and you can tell when somebody's like just dumped something, an AI script.
Write me a script.
Yes.
Of this.
Oh my gosh. And seriously, some of like the bad movies that are coming out, even at top levels, you're like,
you can tell,
dude, come on. Yeah, it's bullshit. Like, but I think as like a tool to help, like in the way you're using it, I'll use it for like, even like small passages. I'm just looking for like just the different wording or something, especially doing pitch decks and stuff like that, where I'm trying to like, some of the pitches I've been doing, and I don't think I'll do any more of these. I don't think, we'll see. But like, I don't know, have you heard of Stage 32? Like, it's yeah. So that's where I'm doing the pitches. And they have some like really great executives on there, which is crazy. But they have written pitches and then Zoom pitches. And the written pitches, you have to cram the whole thing into 2 pages. So I'm just like, for me using AI, it's just like, okay, I've got 3.5 pages. Can you give me some ideas on how to get it there? And it's so helpful. And it's a hot mess when it spits something out for you, but it's like, oh, there's 3 good ideas right there. And then you rework it yourself. I think that's like the value of AI. I don't think the value of AI is like writing a script for you, because it's like just a hot mess. Like,
it really is.
Yeah. So it's like, I think that's a really good use of it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think it's definitely built me up to finally feel ready to take on a feature film.
Well, also, one other thing I wanted to make too is like, we had the same kind of childhood, like of just swimming in movies. And I was like really afraid to like, and I think that's what kept me from writing a script for so long, was like, I don't know anything about this, blah, blah, blah. But when I started like writing, it's baked into us. Like from all the movies you've obsessed with and watched, you inherently know the 3-act structure. Like, you don't even need like to know the things that you've learned now. You have the technical for it. You already knew that. Like, and
Freitag pyramid.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's just like I'm realizing that now, that it's like kind of baked in. It's like almost like, don't lose your instinct. Like, just write. Don't get too technical. That's what would be my advice, is because like, it's already in there, like, because you grew up the same way I did, just watching endless movies, and then all the way through our lives been watching movies and thinking about them and whatever. So yeah,
it's funny you say it, because my first passes, I have 2 feature films that I've written before any kind of studying. I have a series, that the first pass of Render, that I did without studying, and intuitively, yeah, you're correct. There's all these, I hit the points, but when I actually sat down and learned structure and why and different type of character arcs and what characters represent what, and shadow characters and why this and the A story, the B story, the C. Once I started learning all that, it was really, it's funny because I'll read people like, I don't want to be boxed. I don't want to be boxed in. But for me, who's someone who's naturally on the jazz side, I don't want to be in a box.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really helped me take everything that I'm doing and really like focus and fine tune all those things. And I think I wish I had, well, we didn't have the tools in the YouTube and the AI chat GPT type things to help us. But, back then I would go to Barnes & Noble and pick out a book. And the film section is this small.
Yeah.
And it's the same books, and
Exactly.
and so you're picking and you're trying to learn, and it's like, and then we didn't have any mentors. There was no mentors to bounce these ideas off of. And so I feel like finally, back to my dune, walking out feeling depressed, I'm at a point where I was thinking, am I too old? But now that all these tools are available, I finally feel like I'm understanding and I can speak the language. I can actually sit and write the music at the piano. I'm not just fumbling around and, oh, that sounds really good. Yeah. And somebody can go, oh, that sounds cool, but where's the song? And I'm like,
right.
But so I feel like finally maybe that's one thing that's been really giving me more confidence is that I have the tools. I'm a hard worker.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I put all these together, I have the network, like you said. I'm building the friends and the people that believe in me. I feel like it's the perfect, storm to finally do a feature film. And
I agree.
That's kind of where I think this year I want to either start developing somebody's or my own, or I finally feel like I'm ready for that.
Awesome.
And so that's talking with you. You've always been, with our mutual friend Loanne. She's always speaking so highly of you, of your ability to do everything. And like you said, there aren't a lot of people like us who do everything. And, you'll actually, sometimes people will say, well, just focus on one thing, and you can be good at that one thing. But for us, people like us, it's like, we can't, I can't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like, if I don't focus on everything, shit's not going to get made, one.
That's exactly it.
And two, nobody's going to create it the way I see it yet until you can pay them, the high-end people. But I feel like I'm just finally getting to that place where that doubt and that pressure that I'm putting on myself, that I'm 44 years old, I haven't made a feature film yet. Is it too late? What the fuck? It's now like getting off, and I'm feeling finally ready to do that. And then now that being said, I'm going to throw this wrench in there. The whole fucking game is changing.
Yes, totally.
There's no more money. Studios suck. Networks suck. Streaming sucks. Like, okay, finally, I have all these things. What am I doing now? And so I think I would love to kind of just hear your ideas on kind of like what you were talking about earlier about, you got 4 million views on streaming services. Someone who has a feature film done and they're putting it out to the next step. Is it just a YouTube thing, create your own IP, or talk about the streaming services? Because I have no idea about any of that shit.
Honestly, I don't have like a great insight into it either, except that like the next time I go into a project, because I wasn't a producer on the rom-com, just was the director and editor, but will be a producer because I just want more transparency. Like, I think we're in it's the same. It's an exciting time, and it's like, and also like kind of sad time because like I feel like streaming, everyone was like so hungry to be the #1 streamer. They just all went nuts, and like none of it made sense business wise. And now you're seeing that as a filmmaker where it's like, oh, you can have like make this movie for $25,000 and then like it's selling to airlines. We have millions of views and we still don't know like what's going to happen. We're going to have a meeting at the beginning of the year, like, but we'll find out. But it's like, that's like a pretty successful hit on a movie with that low of a budget. So it's like, especially a rom-com, like, so it's like, oh, is it this, no matter what you do, this shady with the streamers? I don't know. So like, that's one thing that the next project I go into, I want more ownership, more transparency. It's tricky. It's a little bit like opaque to me as well, even though I've done a couple, you know. And the first movie we did, haven't seen any money from that either, but it's doing fine on streaming as well. Not as good as the rom-com, but so yeah, it's like it's scary to get into the streaming stuff because it's like that old Hollywood accounting is like right back, right? It's like they've just switched the platform.
The movie made $4 billion. Yeah. We're still paying off debt on shit. Like, what? It was
right.
Yeah.
So like.
God, I hear so many stories like that.
Yeah. So I mean, and you know, starting my own YouTube thing too, like, and to own more of like what I'm making, you know what I mean? Because, yeah, I don't know the answer, honestly. Like, still trying to get another movie made, you know what I mean? But like, we'll go in with very open eyes on the next one of what the deal is, where the money comes from, like what the revenue looks like on the backside. So, I'm coming from a world where it's very transparent. It's like Honda wants video. Here's our estimate. Honda pays bill. Like, it's very transparent, very easy. We do the thing for them, they pay us. And like, you get over into this side of the business and it's like, wait, we're going to do all the work and then what now?
And then when we ask you about it, you're going to give us some roundabout bullshit where you're not going to get it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I will throw out a shout out to Loanne. She's been actually, and this kind of goes back to guerrilla filmmaking, is you could pay somebody to do the business side of it, or you could, like what she's doing, she's taking a night class at UCLA.
Right, yeah. Oh my gosh, like, so much information is coming out of that.
Gangster. Like, to think, and we're all in our 40s, and for her to then say, you know what, I'm going to learn it myself. One, to have the mental capacity to go back to school. Right. I still have nightmares of being in school. I fucking hated school so much. So the fact that she's going back and doing that is just so gangster. And then the stuff that she just throws me after one night of class, I'm like, these are the things that I have no idea. Right. And I put all my energy into the creative, to create it, to write it, to shoot it, to edit it. And now it's like, it's done. Now what the fuck do I do? And then you're getting taken advantage of through streamers. It's, what is it? And so I'm at this point where it's build it yourself, but you know how that can only go so far. You know, you're now hoping that the YouTube algorithm likes your stuff. You're hoping now you have to then tell all your friends and everybody on YouTube and on Instagram and social, and then you have to be that annoying guy like, check out my film. And it's like, I don't want to fucking do that either. So trying to figure out how to navigate that space is very key for what we ultimately want to do, which is TV and film. So.
Right. Yeah, honestly, I don't know the answer yet, but I'm still like optimistic, like as far as like we'll figure it out as we go here.
That's all we can do, right?
I know, yeah. Like it's like just have to be. I feel like it's just, if you just keep being inevitable and you keep momentum and you keep, it's like the Sylvester Stallone quote. It's like, it's not about like how many times you get knocked down to how many times you get hit and keep moving forward. Like, and it's like, it's always in the back of my mind. And it's like, okay, that didn't work out, but what else am I going to do? Give up? No.
Well, even the people that are in charge don't seem to fucking know what's
They don't know
going
anything.
on, because the game is changing so much that these people that have been in legacy media, from my point of view, I'm not back there, but the conversations that I've had, it's like they don't know what the fuck is going on, and they don't even know how to navigate this themselves.
They don't.
And so it's really this weird, tumultuous time, but also very exciting. And I think I had talked about that in the last episode. Like, we are seeing some sort of an American new wave again, where the studio system is dying and all these new creatives have an opportunity. Yeah. But the thing that's different now from then is that there was an audience who would go to the movies and love that shit. Right. We're getting a lot of people not investing in film as much. And then two, you're just having a lot of celebrity fatigue. I want to also say that. Dude, I'm noticing more and more people the celebrities used to be able to post something and everybody loves it. I think people are so fucking tired of like looking up to these Kardashian type people who have this life that they wish they had.
They're so out of touch. They're so out of touch, and people are like really tired of that whole out of touch thing, because people are struggling and people are just like oblivious, like posting about stuff or whatever.
And so then you can't tie on some big
I
actor
know,
anymore
right?
because that
Yeah.
doesn't work because people are tired of seeing these fucking
Exactly.
people. So it's really interesting times. And I think my takeaway is kind of what you're saying is we just got to take the punches, keep rolling, and really strap on the entrepreneurship mindset of let's not look at this so much as a film making as more of like a startup company. And I've worked in several startup companies where it's you see what it takes to get the product out, and you know it's just again you're wearing more hats and you're less focused. So how do you maximize yourself to be able to do all this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like speaking of low end, the way we like at Cotu, my company, like it's like we're always just it doesn't need to be finished. We just as long as everything gets pushed up the board, like, and that's how I'm working everything because I have so many different things going on. Like working on a documentary. Okay, what's today? Let's get one step there. Okay, a script. Okay, got a pitch. So we're gonna push that here. Okay, we got this. I'm gonna push that here. I'm working on a YouTube thing. As long as everything's getting pushed up the board. Like I think eventually like an origins happens because I think that's what you were doing too. You know, it's like, but you don't know what's gonna hit first. But eventually something's gonna hit, and it's probably gonna push everything forward.
Exactly.
Or something's gonna hit big enough that you're like, okay, let's pause all of these, and now we'll focus here. Like, you know,
or
what I mean?
have the resources to fund those other projects for other people
100%,
to do that, which is always great to have that network of people who you know you can depend on to help push those as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's really interesting, and the other thing I kind of talked about in the first episode I want to talk about is creating your own IP. For Render, it's a sci-fi project. It's going to be very expensive, and I'm trying to figure out how do I ground it in reality more so it's not as expensive, which I feel like I can. But that being said, me walking in, having never directed a feature film, having never been a showrunner, there's no way somebody's going to pick up some series that's going to be, you know, X hundreds of thousands of dollars per episode. It's just not going to happen. So what might happen to me if I don't do what I'm now doing.
I wouldn't necessarily like cut that out.
You think so?
Well, because like somebody said to me, and I thought it was funny, but also so true. The two entry level positions in Hollywood are PA and director.
But is that still in this landscape? You think?
Well, I don't know, dude. And it's like so. It's tricky because like. We've seen, and they weren't good, but we've seen Marvel movies helmed by first or second time directors.
Kugler, yeah. And
it's like, so it does happen. Yeah. And like, he didn't have anything crazy before then. So it's like that, whatever that chemistry is. So I'm not writing that off. Like I kept writing that off, and enough people told me not to because my film that I'm working on is called Bodhi. And I had a budget made, and with named talent in it, it's going to be like 11 to 13 million,
which is not that much money in the big scheme, but for people like us,
you know, for me, like I mean, the biggest budget we've had, I think it was like $360 or something for a project, and like still that's huge amount of money, but like a lot of money, but like.
Multiply that by 10.
But like in my mind, I'm like, can you imagine what we could do with $11 million? Like it's just like that is like compared to what I'm used to working on and making work like for lower budgets. That's like an endless amount of money. So it's like I don't know.
Well, let me throw this caveat in there. And I agree with you on that.
I have another point too that why I'm starting to try to believe. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I heard, and this is through I've had multiple meetings with agents who I was hoping to get repped by, which didn't fall through because I didn't have a plethora of work to and then also some of the celebrities that I've worked with, and then also producers and in my network that I'm asking. It seems that they will take a chance on a feature, first-time feature writer or director. But doing a series is a whole different game because there's so many moving parts to it.
Right.
And so I think I kind of bit myself in the ass by jumping straight. I didn't know this when I started. jumping straight into a series.
Oh, gotcha.
And so
Okay.
that's the caveat that I keep hearing. And so that has kind of forced me now to shift back over to trying to get a feature done
Right.
that I feel confident, because like I keep hearing, it's more likely that you'll get picked up on that,
Gotcha.
prove yourself, and then you can jump into the series type stuff.
Right, right.
So that would be the caveat that I guess I needed to put forth. But
Yeah.
I totally believe that. I mean, a showrunner, I couldn't imagine the stress and the intensity and the money. They're not going to let some random kid who has a YouTube channel that, yo, let me showrun this bitch, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so your point, you wanted to...
Oh, just, well, like a meeting I had with a guy at AFM about taking Sunset Drive, the short, into a feature. At that point, basically I had Bodhi, which is like 11 million, 13 million, whatever. And then I have Sunset Drive. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, what's the least I could do the feature for? Like the bare minimum. And I'm like, maybe it's 150 or 200 or 200,000. So I went into the meeting, pitched him both movies. And he's like, I like Sunset Drive. And he had watched the trailer for the short at least and saw my car videos. And he's like, I really like this. He's like, but yeah, there's no way we'll make it for 150 or 200. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't know if I can make it for less. He's like, no. He's like, we don't want to mess with something like that. If you're going to do an action movie, it needs to be between 1 and 3 million. He's like, could you write it for that? And I'm like, yes. So it's like, I never even thought of that perspective. It's like, they don't want to mess with it at that low budget, which is counterintuitive to me. Like, because you would think, oh, we haven't done a feature. Like, of course, they want to, do it for as cheap as possible. But like, that's also not true.
Yeah, it's like if you're going to build a house to sell it, you don't want to build a house with $150,000 because it's going to look possibly, but you want to maybe invest at least $2 million.
Right.
Get that nice bathroom, get that nice dual head shower, get your girl happy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally
So I never thought about that before.
Yeah,
So that gave me a little more hope too. I was like, oh, okay, then maybe that is a thing that can happen. Like, I could helm a $2 million movie or 11. I don't know. Like, it seems crazy, like we were saying, like, but I don't know. Now I'm kind of like, oh, all right.
Well,
Why not believe that? There's crazy people who haven't done jack shit out there who believe they can do that.
Or you see it on fucking Netflix. I'm scrolling like, how the fuck did this get made? How the fuck did this get made?
Dude,
like,
yes.
But talking with Eddie earlier, he had mentioned, working with in the technologies like the volume now.
Right.
And so those, budgets that we could have spent $1 million just to get permits, to get the staffing, to get the police to shut down.
Right.
Now you can, have a car that's shaking and you can have the volume, which is an LED wraparound screen that you've seen on Stranger Things, you've seen on Star Wars, you've seen that you didn't even know that it's
totally.
the new Frankenstein movie. So like these type of technologies are going to help those, $1.2 million, $2 million budget films where you could now this is wishful thinking. We could take that money that would have been spent there and put it into props, story, and editing, and
sure.
Gummy bears, or
Exactly.
Sour Patch Kids, like the crafty is
Yes,
just
exactly.
one giant Sour Patch Kid. Like, how much the fuck did this cost? $20,000 right there. But yeah, I think there is a lot of cool tools out there, and for people like us, I think again it's just a matter of coming down with the idea and the story, making sure that is where it needs to be. And then I think finding believers and people willing to take a chance in this time period, I think is a little bit, I'm hoping is available just because we're just in this crazy chaos.
Yeah, we are. Like everything's well, it's like everyone's like AI is doom, but at the same time it's a great tool. And like, man, the news loves to overhype how bad it's going to be, which, let's fast forward to 5 years from now and we're Skynet,
Yeah, exactly.
But it just causes so much chaos because everybody starts running different directions because like, oh, we're all doomed and everyone runs that way. And we're all doomed and everyone runs that way. And then one franchise makes a bunch of money and now they make all franchises. It's like, the herd is just running wild. So
yeah, and it's like at the same level, are those the people that we even want to work with or cater to, right?
Yeah,
so that's kind of what
I
keeps
know.
me grounded in the fact that like we can do it, and it's like there are people who really want good storytelling, who want original stories, who want original ideas from new directors and new talent.
What's the best way to, because those people are out there in the film industry still, right? Somewhere, or people with money or trying to start other stuff or whatever. Yeah, how do we find those people?
That's the next question, and it's kind of what you were saying with the networking, doing these type of things, but also I think honestly it comes back, and I was shit talking probably earlier about it, but IP is creating your own IP. And so for Render, creating your own buzz, you're seeing with like Marty Supreme what A24 did with that whole marketing, like thinking of new ways to do marketing, thinking of new ways to tap into the zeitgeist, thinking of new ways to tap into the community and know who your community is. I think we are savvy enough on that level to be able to do that. But the IP for even Render, I'm actually going down the route, and I've been really now starting to invest into this, is doing a comic book series, basically taking my pilot and making a 5-part series, 24 pages each. I'm a huge comic book fan. I've been collecting my comic book collections. Like I got amazing dope ass shit, but really started digging through that, thinking I'm gonna drop a comic book, build out my own IP, build in my own market, and then if it comes down to crowdsourcing, you have a built-in audience, or those studio people who might want to take a risk. Well, look, the fact that you've done all this work, and we're a skeleton crew. We have at most 5 people in our holster. So it's like, if we can do that, imagine what we could do with 100 people, 50 people. So I think making yourself as marketable as possible is kind of.
And that's kind of like it's a really great idea, because I think it also is like it's the obstacle is the way. It's like, well, the people at studio only want to see things with IP, right? And it's like, here you go. Here's an IP that exists in a way because they probably don't have any imagination to think about how it could be.
And then you have the say. And it allows you, from what I'm reading, again, I've never been there, so these are all the conversations I'm having, that if you have that IP built, it's so much easier to maintain it when you go to those higher levels. Because if you're walking in with no IP and you're just this guy, they're going to either take the idea, strip and do it, or they're going to, Jimmy Jack you around, kind of like what they did with David Fincher on Alien 3. So I think that's kind of my game plan moving forward, is build out my own shit, continue to cultivate a community like I've done with Origins. Every premiere that I do, or every episode I do a premiere, and each one is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, by episode 10, we could have 500, 1,000 people.
I believe that easy.
And so I think that's kind of where I'm investing my time and energy, especially on the documentary side, but also just getting reps, just making shit, just getting out and making shit. So
I think that's like key too. I've been thinking for myself that like I do make a lot of stuff because we do car stuff, but it's also not personal or not necessarily exactly what I would do on my own. So like that's a thing I've been thinking about a lot, that I need to make my own stuff. And one of the reasons I'm doing YouTube, just things that I can like do and have a constant like creative outlet. So I think that's very important.
Keep your sword sharp, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think our next guest will be Brian Michael Smith, the actor. And we've actually been trying to meet up once a quarter, and we just throw an idea in the hat, and we all just start. Here's a 2-page script that we all just write, and we just shoot. And so we have a couple pieces that we've been developing that I would look to continue on that. And now I'm getting narrative reps. I'm working with trained actors and actresses. Like, it's doing all the things. So I think you just got to start making shit. Find your network, kind of build it up from there.
I'll have to like squeeze in on that project too.
Please, I actually do want to talk to you a little bit about that. Cool. But I think that's pretty much kind of the base of what I wanted to kind of discuss through all this. Is there anything that you want to plug, or anything that you...
I think it's going to be a while before it's out, but like project I'm working on now, it's called Brain Rot. It's just going to be about, brain rot. It's like going to be kind of science-based, but also have a kind of a fun punk rock edge to it, because like the memes that I'm collecting right now are just completely unhinged, but also serious, because like watching, you know, like my son or my nephew, or like just the screen time. It's like massive. And I mean, same for me, you know what I mean? It's like hard to put down your phone. So, but you can feel it too. You can feel like that feeling of not being able to focus or concentrate. So I think it's something that's important to see what actually is happening to our brains, like consuming all the time. So yeah, we're just going to do that on our own, and hopefully have our first couple interviews this month, and then continue from there, and hopefully that'll be out this year sometime. So that's what I'm working on at the moment.
I love that. Yeah, that idea when you had shared it to me was just incredible, especially how I do have younger nieces and nephews, and especially over the holidays, I was kind of peeking at their phone to see what they are watching, and then a lot is, it's crazy. I mean, they might not be on the teenage level of brain rot. They're definitely on the kid level of brain rot, but and then you saw recently that, you know, Kim Kardashian did a brain test, and her frontal lobe is low functioning.
Wow, no, I didn't even see that.
So like it's like this big deal on the internet thing, and you got to think that when you're reading and you're not reading. I mean, when you're looking at social media and which I'm assuming that's her whole life.
Right.
It's like you're not developing that muscle, and then goes unused.
I have to read about that, because like that would be awesome to interview her about that.
I was gonna say that might be a good person to talk to, because it's very interesting. So I'm interested to see, and I guess my last point on the brain rot thing, my ability to speak, especially having COVID 3 times, and I got it really bad the first time, there was a lingering brain see right there, fog that's going through. I've been struggling and feeling very self-conscious about speaking, about finding the correct words, and even there's easy, simple words. And I'm constantly going, what is going on with, I used to be such a great speaker, and now I can't speak. I can't even find that simple word. And one thing that I did to really remedy that was just start freaking reading books again.
Yeah, totally. I think it is. I think it's the phone, dude.
It really is the phone, man.
Because I have the same thing. And when like right now, I just took Instagram off my phone 2 days ago. I'm seriously already feeling like a little bit better. Like, cause like it's just like fries you out. Like, yeah. So anyway, like I think it is that. I mean, probably on top of like COVID and all that, but it's a big part of it. Yeah, exactly right.
Shout out to the weed company.
But that's why we got to do this too. I think this is super helpful. Just like talk, engage. Like, it's good. Yep.
Well, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thanks,
When I thought about dropping this, I mean, you guys have been so instrumental in helping out everything that I do with Origins, and just as a friend as well. And then now this podcast, I couldn't think of a better person to have a conversation with, and especially because you've been kind of that leader, and me kind of trying to get to that next level, and you being such a great resource for that. So thank you for doing that.
No, it's happy to help you and also work with you and all of it. This is cool. It was a cool conversation too. Hopefully we'll do this again. And
that was a good start, because we just do that. I just teed you off and see how you just you accepted the tee off. Just imagine there's someone sitting right here. Like, so now you have to try me, and I don't know. That being said, thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check out the next episode coming out. All right, guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys.